Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to learn about complex numbers is how to add them together. So we're going to have two complex numbers, and remember, a complex number is made up of a couple parts. We have a plus bi, where I is the imaginary number I, right here. We're going to see it usually written italicized like that, and that's equal to the square root of -1. And we talked all about that in the other video, so if you have any questions about that, I would say go back, watch that video, and then text me anything that you didn't understand. So the rest of the complex number is right here. So a plus bi, that's the form, and I don't want this to be confusing because a plus bi is not equal to square root of -1. I is. So a complex number is made up of imaginary I and then two real numbers. Okay, a is a real number, b is a real number. A is called the real part. Bi, where b is attached to I through multiplication, is called the imaginary part. Okay, sorry, that's pretty sloppy. So we have a plus bi. So now let's talk about how we add two complex numbers. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a plus bi, and we'll put that in parentheses. And remember, when we put something in brackets or parentheses, what we're saying is everything contained therein is a single value. Okay, and that's in a complex number, we kind of think of it as that's a single value. Now we're going to add that to another complex number, and we'll use the variables c and d, c plus di, and we'll also contain that in parentheses and treat that as a single value. Now you'll notice that a, b, c, and d are all variables. Those can be any real number. I is used in both because I is a constant term. I is always the square root of -1. We've talked about that in the other video. So where are we at? What we want to do is we want to combine the real terms, or the real parts, excuse me. So a and c represent the real parts. And then we want to combine the imaginary parts, which are bi and di, separately. So let's go ahead and carry that out. And we can see that I is multiplied by b, I is multiplied by d. Here, I is multiplied by d, I is multiplied by b. So we've kept everything true, and this is how we're going to combine our terms. So let's do a practice problem using these steps. So we have 6 plus, let's say, 4i. So there's our complex number, our first one. Let's add that to 5 plus, say, 3i, and then follow these steps here. So we're going to take the real part, and I'll underline that in green, so the real part, we're going to add those up separately from the imaginary part, 6 plus 5. Close those parentheses off. Then we're going to add the imaginary part to the imaginary part. So it's going to be 4 plus 3 close parentheses I. And then we can simply combine like terms, and we'll write that right down here, equals 6 plus 5 is 11, 4 plus 3 is 7, so positive 7, I. And that's the simple process of adding complex numbers. Alright, cheers.